Hello. Welcome into Gamesthetic episode 141. Back after 1 week unplanned break, but hey, shit happens. I was very tired. Last Saturday was one of those great examples of like, imagine a day where everything possible could go wrong. That was my Saturday, and I was exhausted, and I just didn't want to do the show. But joining with me today for the show, we do have John, who has a big day today because we have Baldurs Gate 3 that he'll be chatting about. He may touch on Sparkball as well as some Path of Exile. This is a big John show. I'm just here for the ride. This is actually John's show, which is really funny because he's been having mic problems. So he's the guy running the show with mic problems. We'll see how it goes. But shout out, he's got the Starfield headset. So shout out to that, I guess.
I don't know if I can turn this light off either.
I don't think you can.
Just now. Apparently you can if you connect it properly, but
yeah.
Haven't done that.
Yeah.
Because apparently, since it's a Microsoft or like an Xbox branded headset, you can just connect it.
Right.
Or you can connect it through like the Xbox app and have Xbox accessories app. Sorry, and that you can actually edit the settings from that. But yeah, I got the Starfield headset. Went and grabbed my Starfield controller just to go with it
too. Are you gonna get that that Vapor controller I sent you?
Dude, you're broke right now, man. You and Zach both sent it to me within an hour of each other.
Yeah, that's true. I noticed that. Hey, at least you got the Spider-Man controller. That's the main thing, right?
Yeah, I did order that.
Yeah. Lots happened in the single week we've been gone. John and I both got our hands on pre-orders for the Spider-Man controller. I got plates. I got the physical edition Spider-Man plates. Did you get the plates?
I didn't get the plates, man. They were more expensive than I thought they were, and I did not have. I mean, I didn't really have the money to be buying the controller at the time, but I did it anyway.
I didn't have the money to buy either one, and I did it anyway. I was not missing out on that. On that. So yeah, no, a lot's happened in just the single week. Honestly, like there was a lot. I mean, dude, last week's script for the weekly wrap up, I had so much shit on there. And I'll shout out a couple things. There are a few things that, I mean, it's just
before we get going too much, just at the top here, I want to say if anybody that's watching this, like during either the Saturday or the Sunday of this weekend, which today was August 5th.
Yeah, August 5th.
It's currently Evo weekend, so if you're interested in fighting games at all and like watching tournaments, Evo is going on right now. I've been watching it all day, or since it started today, and I'm watching it. That's pretty much how I spent my night last night.
Hey, we also got SummerSlam today too. Shout out to that. If you got the Peacock, you can watch some SummerSlam. I will be tuning into SummerSlam after this show.
I thought about it.
Yeah, I will be tuning into that. So, but also, yeah, shout out to Evo. Also, shout out to Sparkball having one of its weekends. So shout out to that. Have you played anything, or has it just been all Baldur's Gate?
In reality, I haven't got to play a ton of Baldur's Gate.
Unfortunate.
Doing a co-op playthrough, so we got to have all three people ready to go to play it. We got some decent time in it. I definitely got some stuff to talk about. I haven't played much Sparkball. I pretty much logged in. I've played one game so far.
Okay.
But the one game I did play, got the CEO in my game.
Oh, there you go. Shout out to that. Yeah, no, Big John episode. Baldur's Gate.
It's
Sparkball.
It's one of those things where
Path
like didn't think. I thought early in the year was my time, but turns out it's
right now.
It was August.
Who would have thought? No, real talk though. Shout out to that podcast that will come out eventually. No, August is a pretty sweet month. Also for me, it's all going to happen all in 1 week, which that's kind of annoying. Because we've got Fort Solis coming out this month, as well as Immortals of Avian. Those two come out the exact same day. Immortals, I'm probably going to wait on because I don't want to buy 3 games in 1 week, and I'd rather have Fort Solis. And then also that Friday, we have Armored Core 6. So, do what?
What is Fort Solis?
That's that space horror game starring Roger Clark and Troy Baker.
Never mind.
Yeah, not for you. No.
Don't need to know anymore.
Yep. No, I will be talking about it though. I will be picking it up. It's a digital release on August 22nd, and then the physical release comes out next month, and I'll be picking up the physical release as well. Immortals of Avium, I'm still very interested in, but like I said, I'm probably not going to pick it up day one because I want to play Fort Solis first, and then I do want to play Armored Core 6 on that same Friday. So I'm looking forward to that. And then after that, let me actually unlock my phone real quick. We have let's see, 27 days away until Starfield Early Access. Like it's like right around the fucking corner. That's Starfield Early Access if you pay for the premium edition. Which also, fun fact, I found out, which I thought this is really cool. If you have Game Pass, you can pay for the premium edition for $35 and get that early access. Now you still won't own the game though. You got to have Game Pass to be able to play it. But
yeah,
that is a neat option to have.
That's one of the cool things I've discovered about Game Pass. The games that are on Game Pass, you can buy the DLC for.
Yep.
And play the game, and still like you said, you don't own the game.
Yep.
But while it's on Game Pass, you can play it as much as you want to.
Yeah, exactly. So I haven't decided if I want to go ahead and pull the trigger and get the $100 premium edition, so I actually own it, or just do the 35 and save a little money for right now, because my vacation is 8 weeks away. So I'm very in save mode for this. So may just do the 35 either way. Starfield Early Access, 27 days. So that's pretty exciting. But you got a game after game here in the near future, so that's pretty cool. Don't know if Zach's going to come by. He texted me earlier today that he didn't think he was going to make it, but since we're doing a Discord show, he could just pop in whenever he gets to go home. We'll see. I don't know. But number one, first and foremost, though, if you could, make sure to go check out some Agent Inc. Pick up a jersey, link down in the description below. And then also head over to Rogue Energy and use our referral link. You don't have to use a promo code. If you get a 20% off promo code, whatever, by going on the website, hey, feel free to use it. But using our referral link helps us a lot. I'm just saying. Just use the link and then go use whatever else you want to get a discount. I don't care. But we do have promo code Sparky3 to get 10% off. We'd appreciate that support. Also, shout out to my dogs. They're here in the studio with me. John, you can't see it, but I switched to sniper shot for the stream. But I thought I'd let my dogs in here, chill in the studio with me.
I was going to say, have you let them in there before? Because normally
you're
pretty keen to not let them in.
Yeah, one other time I've let them in the studio, but and it's funny, when I went to go actually let them in, I was like, come on. They were just like, are you sure? I'm like, I'm sure. Let's go. And I told them they can get up on the couch. Lola got up there at first, but now they're just laying on the floor in front of me. Hey, there's Lola. So shout out to my dogs, Lucario and Lola. They're chilling in here with me.
Also, I'm home now, so you may see me pull 7 different drinks out to take a drink from.
Yeah, true.
But that's just the way things are gonna be today.
Yeah. And hopefully we, like I said earlier, hopefully we don't have mic issues. We had mic issues literally right before the show with John, and I think it's funny because this is John's episode.
Got it figured out.
Okay, this is John's episode, man.
Yeah, the Starfield the Starfield headset was an audible called minutes before the show.
Yes. Also, one special shout out with that headset. He told me right before we started. Every time that you unmute it or turn it on, whatever, there's a spaceship that goes off. Is that what it is?
Yeah, it makes some sort of spaceship starting up sound, or
that's actually that's a cool little touch though. I imagine it'd get annoying depending on how long it is, but at the same time, it's like, okay, that's kind of cool.
Oh yeah, when I was sitting here turning them, I'm trying to see if you could hear me, man, it got annoying quick.
Yeah. So this episode is going to be a big, we'll see how it goes. So I apologize if the audio is not as crispy as it normally is. But anyway, yeah, Baldurs Gate 3, aka, Goodbye Life. You're doing a campaign thing. Let me ask you, are you going to do a solo run at all, or are you just going to do the campaign one with your buddies?
I'm probably going to end up doing solo runs, because so I've started a co-op campaign with 2 of my friends. It's my 2 friends that we did the Divinity Original Sin 2 campaign with. So we've been waiting on the official release of Baldur's Gate 3. I think it was announced in 2018, and then it's been in early access for 3 years. So we've been waiting a while for it.
Yeah. You have not wanted to play the early access.
Oh yeah, no, it was one where it's we didn't want to. We all kind of collectively agreed that the early access would kind of. I mean, it would have been fun, but it would have been one of those where you kind of ruin the initial experience of it in a way.
Yeah.
On full release. So we've started our game there. I don't think I have no relative point to say of how how far we in or we are in or anything because I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean the game is completely just like go do whatever, go be whatever. It's open ended. And I will say one thing that I've been really looking forward to with today's podcast and talking to you about it. John, I want to stress to you on something. I am aggressively broke right now. Okay. I just got paid and I'm already broke. Like you alone, John, are going to sway me one way or another of buying this game tomorrow potentially and playing it, depending on how much you sell me on this thing.
Oh,
So
dude,
let's get into it. I want to know about it.
Here's the thing: I'm having a fucking. I will say that. The character creator was kind of fun. I don't know if what any improvements they had from early access, but it's a decent character creator. You don't have like an absolute massive amount of options, but I mean we spent like a good 45 minutes in there making our characters, and then we had to do it a couple times because we were having we've had a few bugs. There's been some bugs with like trying to create characters if you use like the non-standard like colors for like hair and skin tone and stuff like that. Because depending on the race you pick, you get options, but you can expand those. But apparently, there's been some bugs with that. There's already been a hot fix released this weekend, so it might have addressed some of that. They had a bunch of bug fixes in there.
What class and subclass did you go with?
I'm playing fighter. I'm playing Eldritch Knight.
Okay.
So I'm basically a fighter, and
earlier.
I get access to some wizard spells.
Okay.
And then one of my other party members is playing. I think he's playing a thief rogue, and then the other is playing a Circle of Spores druid. So we're kind of just going for it. We kind of all just looked at it was like, what do we want to play? We weren't trying to kind of min max or anything like that. Right. We just kind of was like, what sounds the most fun to you? And classically, I've always enjoyed Eldritch Knight. But yeah, the game kind of starts out, and it starts out from like, you remember like 3-4 years ago they had the initial cutscene for Baldurs Gate 3, or like the initial trailer for it with like the mind flayer going through the city and kind of porting people up. That's the opening of the game. Okay. And your character is one of the people that gets brought up on the ship, and you get a little worm gets put in your eye, and it's kind of taking you over your brain and gonna turn you into a mind flayer. That's like the opening cutscene and initial dialogue. So it opens up with you're like, we gotta get off this ship. Which I will say, one cool thing is, in like, I think it's the second combat encounter. There's demons. It's like your only objective is to get to a control panel to teleport the ship away, basically. But there's demons along the way, and there's one like level 8 or 9 demon or something there that's going toe to toe with a mind flayer. But he had a sick looking like flaming sword. And we were like, we got 15 rounds to get over to that panel. Let's see if we can kill this dude and see if we can get his sword. Turns out, if you kill him, you do get his sword. So I started the game with his sword.
Oh, that's a hell of a way to start.
I was the only martial class that could use it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's kind of cool little things like that is one of the things I really enjoy, where it's like you kind of get rewarded for doing the harder thing. Because we could have just sprinted across the room in 2 turns, got out of there with no issue. Or we can almost all die trying to do something stupid.
Die trying.
But we did it, and it was fun.
Yeah.
But the exploration in the game so far, pretty interesting. You kind of just run around, and there's little things that, like, there may be like buried chests or something in dirt mounds or that. But you may not actually, or it's like you'll know where it is, but you may not get access to it because you'll run by and your character will just automatically do like a perception check. If they fail it, then that's it. You can't go back. You can't really go back to it because it's like you've already failed your check. You don't. So, but for some of that stuff, it's been fun. I've really had a bit of a hard time following everything going on so far. Mainly because there's just a shitload going on. Like one of the first, or really the first like little town we got to, shit ended up popping off there, and we were not prepared for it just because we showed up and we just kind of started talking to everybody in that, and then shit went sideways and we were a little caught off guard because not all of us were in on every conversation. But like if you have a conversation going on with an NPC you're in a co-op game, you can always join into theirs and like see the options they're picking and watch all the cutscenes and everything.
Oh, that's kind of cool that you can see what they're picking.
Yeah, we weren't doing that entirely at the beginning. We've gotten better at it. But yeah, so it's like we didn't pay attention to everything. We kind of we messed stuff up in the order we did some things. So
yeah,
we had some shit pop off.
I was watching one video of just like little tips and tricks, like nothing like massive or anything. But one thing that I didn't even finish the video, but one thing that that was a tip was just like choose your dialogue carefully, because it's not like a game like, you know, Cyberpunk or, you know, Mass Effect where you can just like choose all your dialogue and exhaust every option. Like you could potentially pick an option just to hear what they're going to say and the conversation just end and you never get the information you wanted. So
no, it's very much in the vein of, or there's a ton of replayability to it, partially because of the fact that like you were mentioning, in dialogue you'll have like maybe 4 options. If you pick the first one, then nothing could happen every time.
Yeah.
If you pick a second one, it could lead to a different skill check, and if you fail that skill check, they're all going to try to attack you, or they're just going to be mad at you and not talk to you anymore. But depending on the path you go through, you may get, it's like, because there's usually skill checks involved. And if you pass them, you may have 5 more lines of dialogue where you can resolve things peacefully or choose to end it in violence. Or you may get 2 more lines of dialogue before things turn sideways. Because I've definitely had some of those where sometimes the dice just don't work with you. Because we've been trying not to like save scum stuff where like you throw quick saves down everywhere, and if you don't get your outcome, you just quick load. It's like we try not to do that, but occasionally you kind of put yourself in an unwinnable position. But we try not to do the whole, or like just save constantly to make sure we get whatever outcome we want. But one of the really fun things that I didn't know about, mainly because I went into this very blind. I tried not to see a lot of information before I went in.
That's what I'm basically going to do for the most part. I don't really know anything, and like I want to go in and just experience the world.
Part of combat that's fun, or that makes it a little more interesting, is different weapons give you different like weapon, I don't want to say abilities, but different like weapon attacks. Because like if you equipped, like I'm using a greatsword, so I have my primary weapon attack, but that takes an action. But I also have 3 other types of weapon attacks I can do per short rest. So I have one called a pommel strike, where it does low damage but has a chance to stun people, or dazed is what is the actual effect. It has a cleaving effect, so I can hit multiple enemies in a 180 degree arc. And then it has I don't remember what the attack's called, but it would hit them and cause them to take bleed damage for the next 2 turns. But yeah, so different weapons will give you different attacking options, which is, I assume, something that they did to give martial classes some other ways to attack other than just like basic attacking every time it came to their turn. So it's like if you're facing a group of enemies, you can jump in and cleave them, or you can try to slow them down and then jump away or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives you a little more options than just I'm gonna run in and hit them with my sword every time.
Right.
You're still hitting it with your sword. You're just doing it. It's like you have slightly different options for it. Also, it's like shoving is just a bonus action, which is fantastic. Because if people are on if people climb a ladder and they're kind of like on the edge of a bridge shooting down at you, if you climb the ladder and push them off, they just fall. Like they'll fall down, take falling damage, and be prone on the ground. So there's a ton of fun little things like that.
Yeah.
I've also been having fun because with my subclass Eldritch Knight, I can bond my weapon, like do it once per day, once per long rest, basically. It means you can't be disarmed by any means. And if I throw my sword, it just shows back up at me.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So if I want to, I can just toss my sword around and then it's immediately back at me.
So kind of like almost like a Thor's hammer sort of thing, or a Kratos axe kind of thing.
Kind of.
Kind of.
It's like you toss it out and then it's just back in your hand.
Gotcha.
It hasn't been the most useful thing, but it's just a fun little feature. But yeah, so far it's been pretty fun. One thing I was wondering about was magic items. I didn't know how plentiful they would be. We found a shitload, and it's like they're not game-breaking items or anything. It's just like a little bit of reduced damage, a little bit of extra damage here and there. But the sheer variety of ones that we found so far, and we're maybe I can actually look right here. I've got 9 hours played. Take off 2 hours of that for like crashes and character creation. So about 7 hours played, and we're going kind of slow because we're like kind of investigating every little thing we can.
Yeah.
If we see a door, we're going through it. We see a cave, we're going in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, it's been fun. It mostly rewards you for exploring around, whether it be through getting additional consumable items, like finding NPCs, talk to them, and like them giving you some items, or just finding additional little quests here and there.
Right.
Because like so far quests aren't just all like big exciting like here's main quest step like step to go do to like get something done. It's like, okay, you go from point A to point B. Like for the main quest, we got to the first town, and immediately after we started talking to people there, 3 different options on how to pursue it. So it's like it was like, go over here and talk to this lady, go over here and find the person to do it, or try to interact with these people and convince them to help you. So there's varying paths you can go down to try to complete the objectives as well. So, which we failed some of them just because not everybody's lived.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like NPCs, it's been a bloody game so far. Also, I've learned since I'm playing a high strength character, best form of movement is jumping. Because like for my class, every class has the ability to jump. Like in combat on your turn, you can jump as a bonus action.
Mm-hmm.
And like for fighter takes, what is it? I think it's sacrifice 10. It's 10 or 15 feet of movement, but I can jump 28 feet.
Okay.
But strike score, so it's like I can walk forward a little bit and then I can jump just as far as my normal movement.
Mm-hmm.
So I get like 1.5 times my normal movement if I just jump every turn. But yeah, it has been very fun so far. Also, just because since we have 3 people playing it, like I said, we kind of get into a town or something, and we're getting better about it, but we still show up and we run 3 different directions. So depending on and we're all talking to different people, so depending on how the conversation's going for one person, you got to end those conversations quick and get over to help.
Right.
I will say, hey, let me ask you this: do you want to buy the game or do you not want to buy the game?
I want to buy the game.
Okay, I can give you a reason not to.
Okay, what's
I'll
that?
save that. Nah, we're gonna save that.
Save that. Save it when? I need to know this.
Oh, no. There's just been been a few encounters that we haven't done yet that we just spotted.
Oh no.
Where I'm like, we're not doing that. Or I wasn't the only one saying we're not doing that yet. They were saying it for like logical gameplay reasons. I was not.
Oh no. How real do they look?
It's not that they looked real, it was that they were really big.
Oh no. All right, I don't know if I can play this game. For people listening, he's referring to spiders.
Yeah, we saw a big ass motherfucker. Yeah, it's
all right. I'm gonna Google it.
honestly, haven't been that many. Many. Only seen him in one location so far. But yeah, one of the possibly one of the best things about the game is
that is horrifying.
The varying ways that you can deal with encounters.
God.
Because in one instance, I walked into a room with some ogres, and I tried to talk to them. My character's not very good at talking to people. Like my charisma's like default 10.
You can also talk to the spiders.
No, they exist only to die.
Yeah, no, there's I guess there's like I cringed just now. I don't know if you saw it because there's a thumbnail from a YouTube video that's like right up on the spider's face and it's talking to you. Like it's a spider, and then I see one where it's like a spider woman. I see that it's a character.
There's all kinds of shit.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I see like giant blue spider here. I see like a giant I like the tan spider with like yellow lumps on its back. That's one that's talking to you. I see like some others. This looks horrifying. Like the big blue one. This looks horrible. I want to die. I have to close this tab. I got the heebie-jeebies now looking at that.
But yeah, just to give you an example of like different ways conversations could go. I walked into a room that had 3 ogres in it. When I tried to talk to them, we wiped the party.
Yeah.
And had to reload, and our save wasn't too far back, but it was like 5-6 minutes back that we had to go back and do some stuff to get back up there. Buddy of mine talked to the ogres, and it's like he talked to them, and we had the opportunity to hire them. We didn't end up doing that because we didn't have the money for it. But it's like a lot of conversations that you have with people can go from they give you information, they give you quests, they offer to help you, or they try to kill you. That's been the most outcomes that we've had.
Yeah, they try to fucking murder you.
Yeah, and then we've also done the same. We talked to some people, or we started a conversation that then we got attacked And then when we took out the leader of the group, it's like some of the others all ran off, and one of them started surrendering and started giving us information on like how to invade their camp and be able to like loot it without being spotted.
Mm-hmm.
And he told us all that so we wouldn't kill him. As soon as the conversation ended, we killed him.
Also,
We were done.
Andy dropped by in chat just now. He said, "John, you look like an anglerfish with your glowy orb." Yeah, Andy, he can't turn it off.
I don't know how to. I can't. If I turn it off, the mic goes off. I can't. I didn't have time to figure it out.
Yeah, no, Andy, it's the limited edition Starfield headset he's rocking with right now. He doesn't know how to turn off the glowy orb.
But yeah, so far I'm excited to get further into the game because, like I said, just partly the branch dialogue options. It's like quests and stuff that I know there's just so far in the game, being like 7 hours in or something, 5 to 7 hours in.
Yeah.
The amount of stuff that we've done where I look at and I go, man, that conversation went different, we'd have a whole different situation right now.
Yep.
Because it's like already at that point, it's like there's at least so far it seems like there's just so much variance in the way every encounter can go.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me excited to get a playthrough done and get more playthrough and like start more playthroughs and see how they work with different characters.
Yeah.
And different classes.
Andy says money well spent. If you gotta go mining, you're all set because you have your own little light.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Andy, it also makes spaceship noises whenever you turn it on. So shout out to that. Now, John, if you start a solo run, what class are you going to be? Because I don't know what I want to do for my first one. I was kind of looking at Druid a little bit, but I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
Well, the thing is, you can, even if you, because like you basically you create your character for the party.
Yeah.
And then there's origin characters, which are like the characters and classes created by Larian for like if you didn't create your own custom character,
mm-hmm.
they have preset characters that are integrated into the story. Those characters can be like you can talk to them and recruit them to be part of your party.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you can have those. Like we've recruited several people, but if you don't want to control them and deal with them, you can just have them go wait in your camp and just have them used for story purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of what we're doing for the moment. We might end up bringing them in, but so far we're just whenever we get a companion, we send them to camp. So I don't know what my next character would be. I would assume like I would either go a full spellcaster class or maybe a ranger of some sort,
mm-hmm.
potentially. Because when I was creating it, I was between playing fighter and paladin, because those are the two classes I typically enjoy playing the most. Never really played full outside of playing like Solasta. I've never played a full spellcaster in like a D&D setting.
Right.
It's like I've always kind of gravitated towards martial classes.
Mm-hmm.
But so I would either go full spellcaster or just pick another martial class to play. Like
right.
Maybe fighter, maybe monk.
No.
Or go somewhere in between with warlock.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this. I know you haven't got very far into it, but this is obviously a conversation that's already being had on the internet with this game. Is this a game that, in your opinion, needs to have a serious contention for being a Game of the Year nominee? I mean, it came in at 94 on Metacritic. You know, it's a game that released with no microtransactions. It's just the game is there. It's $60, but you can dump a ton amount of time into it. You know, is this something that needs to be up there? in the conversation, like what a Tears of the Kingdom is going to be for sure. Probably Final Fantasy will be in there. If Starfield nails the landing, it probably will be. Spider-Man 2 will be. It is Baldur's Gate 3 in that same
I got
realm.
one question for you.
Okay.
In your Tears of the Kingdom, how many options for a penis did you have?
Options for a penis? Oh, all right, you got me on that one, bud. I got none. So I guess Baldur's Gate is game of the year. That's my game of the year right now, if that's the case.
Yeah, no, there's like four or five options for penis.
Hell yeah. That makes sense. I have gotten now integrated into Baldur's Gate 3, like TikTok and stuff. And I've seen reactions of streamers, unclothing their characters, and they're like, oh my God. So, okay, that makes sense.
In all seriousness though, it's hard to say because it's a game where you could look at the scope of the game and how well everything interacts so far.
Yeah.
Even at how short into it I am. So you can look at everything that I've seen so far and say, yeah, this could be a game of the year contender. The thing is though, it's also a game that until you have 50 to 100 hours in it, you're not even gonna know the true depth of the game and all the little things that it has to offer. So it could be considered that just based off the scope, but I don't know. I will say it's got way more players than I really expected it to have.
Yeah, it hit 300K at one point, I think.
Oh no, it's more than that. It's playing. Let's see, how many are playing right now? Playing right now is 593,000.
Mm-hmm.
It's topped out at 712,000.
Oh damn!
I didn't think it was gonna pop off like it has. Because at the end of the day, it's kind of it's a genre that's not for everybody, is the thing. And I know it's a lot of times game of the year is more centered around not necessarily the best games that come out, but some of the more approachable best games that come out. And there's a lot of systems happening in Baldur's Gate 3. So while there's a ton of people who would probably this 100% will be their game of the year, I don't know that it'll be in contention.
You don't know if it'll make the nominees?
It very easily could.
I would think it's going to be on the list for sure, to at least narrow down to, because we have had an ungodly year of games. Let's go ahead and Tears of the Kingdom's a lock. Spider-Man 2 hasn't come out yet, but I'm willing to bet it's going to be a lock. Starfield got nailed the landing. Final Fantasy will probably be there. I could see Resident Evil 4 remake being there. Hell, dude, I'll be real with you. I could see Hi-Fi Rush being a Game of the Year nominee, up front.
Yeah.
This year is an insane year for games.
Yeah, which is like I said, it's like this one. It's like this game. Well, like I said, it very easily could be Game of the Year, and like I said, for a ton of people, this is 100% the best. Their Game of the Year. This is what they wanted, and this is what they've been waiting on. This is what I've been waiting on, and I've been having a blast with it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know the general audience opinion on it.
Gotcha.
Because that's the big thing. Even if it makes the list, I don't know if the general audience would give it its due respects.
Oop, sorry. I know, just kind of seeing it all over Twitter and stuff, it's people are ungodly raving on it. So that's why I'm questioning: is this going to be a Game of the Year nominee?
It's even with a little bit I've had, I've been absolutely loving it.
Right.
But again, that's also coming from it's what I was kind of expecting it to be going into it, which is way more options of how stuff goes. It's a thing of why, a few weeks ago, I was telling you I was seeing those articles and stuff popping up of people cautioning, going, "Don't expect this as your new standard." It's because this is the type of game that Larian Studios makes. They make these turn-based, like, CRPGs, long, super detailed branching paths. This is their bread and butter.
Right.
It's like they know what type of game they make, or they want to make, and they spend the time to make it.
Hmm.
So it's like, while I could very easily see this being a game of the year, I don't know. It's going to be one of those where it's like, do they pick the true games of the year, or do they go with like
the popular ones?
The popular games instead of like, because while this game is popping off, I would still call this a niche game.
I can agree to that.
Because the average player not going to complete this.
Yeah.
It's like they may buy it and hop in and play it for 10 hours, but they're not going to sink 100 hours into this, beating the game and like exploring around, doing all the like walking into every cave or every cellar that they find.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall, at least for right now, I would say it's like, if you're a fan of, honestly, if you're a fan of RPGs and enjoy turn-based combat, the 100% give it a go. Because Larian Studios, like I said, that's their bread and butter. There's a ton of cutscenes, there's a ton of dialogue options. Just about everybody you talk to, like, you can actually have a conversation and interact with.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, there was I walked up to a guy in a town who was hitting a target dummy with a sword, and since I was playing fighter, was able to have a conversation, teach him how to do it better. So it's like, just depending on your like class, background, race, it opens up, like, all of that factors into which dialogue options you get as well.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just, it makes it worth experimenting with different classes.
Yeah. Also, special shout out for the game and just like how it is popping off. Here's a little tweet for you. Larian Studios were expecting about 100K concurrent players max for the launch of Baldur's Gate 3. Instead, today they hit 700,000 plus and became the 9th highest peak ever for a game in Steam history. And that what I just read is I guess a quote post. It's not tweets anymore since it's not Twitter, it's X. So I guess a quote post or a repost, I think is what they renamed it anyway, is from one of the people at Larian, where he said, probably should stay away from the IT team for a while. I told them that I would only expect 100K or so at max for launch. So he told the IT team that. I'm sure the IT team is loving it and hating it at the same time.
It's the thing. It's like, I mean, we've said before, or I've said before, and Zach's agreed with me, is their previous game is Divinity Original Sin 2, and it's one of the most beloved like RPGs ever made.
Yeah.
And I think the highest I've ever seen it on Steam is like 65,000 players or something, which is a respectable number for any game, really.
Right.
But especially for that genre, because like I said, they make very in-depth like RPGs with a ton of systems behind it that all kind of work together.
Right. Well, any last thoughts to throw out there with Baldur's Gate 3? Any last little sales pitch to anyone thinking about getting it? You're really making me just want to like go in debt tomorrow and buy this game.
I mean, it's not something that I'm far enough in at any point to call like to like throw out and say it's a masterclass, like a masterpiece or masterclass of a game or anything yet. But the game so far has just been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the fact that like they have different weapon attacks for the different weapons and everything, just basically just created to give martial classes additional options in combat, makes the choice like not just necessarily like, okay, well this one I can top roll a 19, or this one I can top roll a 20 on. It's also more like, okay, well, it's like these weapons are comparable damage, but based on the fight that we're in, these abilities will work better. So it's like the fact that they went through and created all of that makes me excited for kind of higher tier content in combat to see what more comes in with it. Because already there's like hell at level 3, I was as a fighter, I'm able to do like 4 to 6 actions a turn. And that was before we like leveled up a couple. Like I think we're right now. But yeah, it's like the amount of actions that you're able to take in a turn because of all the tools they give you at low levels just makes it that much more exciting for higher tier content.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a fan of like D&D systems or Lariat in general, it's a fantastic like adaptation.
Out of 10?
Too early to say.
Early impression
like,
out of 10.
It's like for how far I'm in, or like how little time I have into it. I'd say the highest I could give it is a 7 so far.
That's pretty good considering you're super early.
Yeah, and that's just because so far everything has been the dynamic of everything and kind of all the variables has gone into it that can change based on a second playthrough.
Yeah.
And how smooth everything has been. I can give it an early 7 that can very easily skyrocket up. But like I said, with 9 hours in the game, I can't give something more than a 7 when it's like a potentially a 200-hour experience.
Yeah, I get that. Also, our good buddy Dave has now stopped by saying hello. Hey, Dave, how are you, man? He said, not much, crap day at work. Coolers went out last night, but I'm good now because I'm home. Man, I know that feeling, when you get like power outage or cooler outage or whatever. So, T's and P's on that one. That fucking sucks. But, now that you're home, you can do some gaming, my guy. Hopefully you're having a great day. But yeah, overall, Baldur's Gate seems phenomenal. I'm really looking forward to playing it. I think me and the lady are actually gonna try to do a co-op run, and I'll probably do a single run as well. May also try to do a campaign with you as another side one as well. Don't expect that one to be active, obviously. I know you have your primary one, and I'm busy. So, but still would like to do something with you.
Yeah, it's like even my primary one that I'm as my co-op one is like it's one where it's hard to find a time to sit down and play for more than 2 hours, or something. Or like 2 or 3 hours for a session during the week.
Right,
is hard to come up with.
Yeah, I feel you. Trust me, I do. I've barely I played one round of TFT before we went on the show. That's the first time I've played a game literally all week. I haven't played like any TFT this week, nothing. I've been so damn busy, dude. So I feel you. I'm gonna basically be busy like this for like the next like 8 weeks or so, and then it'll start to kind of calm down for me. But no, looking forward to playing some Baldur's Gate. I was thinking about getting it tomorrow and trying it out. So we'll see. I'm very broke, so we will see. Let's hop over to another conversation. I'll hop over to one thing that I want to kind of shout out that popped out earlier this week, and that's a report that came out that Oblivion is apparently getting a remake or remaster, unsure which. It's in development at Virtuos Games, and one thing to note on why this seems to be legit is because this happened a while ago, so I know you may not remember. I vaguely remember this, and I vaguely remember it being on a weekly wrap-up like a year or two ago. But there was former employees at Virtuos who indirectly kind of revealed that Metal Gear 3 remake was happening because they had it on their resume on LinkedIn, and that was like 2 years ago. We just got the reveal for this game a couple months ago, and now the same thing has seemed to happen where it's on a former employee, a former Virtuos Games employee on his like LinkedIn profile or his resume, whatever, that worked on essentially like an Oblivion remaster. Which I mean, if this is true, that is incredible, because I have said on this show a few times before, I actually prefer Oblivion over Skyrim. Skyrim's fantastic; it's a masterpiece of a game, but I don't know why. I just love Oblivion. I genuinely don't, because the thing about Oblivion versus Skyrim, like all of the side stories, like like the Fighters Guild, so the Crusaders, I think is what they were called or whatever in Skyrim. The Thieves Guild, the Dark Brotherhood, all of those stories are better in Skyrim. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. Like, the stories in Oblivion are good. The Dark Brotherhood story and all that, they're fun, they're good in Oblivion, but they're better in Skyrim. But even still, I just love Oblivion. I don't know why. It's my preferred game. So I want a fucking remake or a remaster. That's awesome.
It's one of those where, like, you had put, or I think you had sent that to me like for last week's show or something, and I was kind of like, yeah, okay, because it's like I didn't. Oblivion wasn't a game that I played. Wasn't a game that I had played or had, really. But I mean, it's like the way that you feel there. I feel like that's every Elder Scrolls person, and it kind of depends on the game that they like, the order they play the games in, almost. Because almost every person, or for every person that says what you said, where you prefer Oblivion to Skyrim, there's one that prefers Morrowind to Oblivion.
That's true. You're so true. I
It's
don't
like there's, for every person that loves Skyrim, there's a person that says Oblivion was better, and for every Oblivion person, there's a Morrowind person.
Yes, you're so right. You're so right on that.
It's like it's just, it's the way that it is.
Yeah.
There's always gonna be those people. I mean, if an Oblivion remaster remake comes out, one of those, I'll give it a go, because it's like I never played the game before.
Yeah.
Or it's like I tried to play it, but I think I tried to play it way after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I tried to go back to it, and I was like, man, this is not. This is a little older than I wanted to play right now.
I feel that. Because that's how I felt towards, like, Morrowind. Whenever I went from Oblivion to Morrowind, and honestly, I think the reason why I love Oblivion so much is not only because it's like, a game I spent a lot of my youth playing. I mean, it was the second 360 game I ever got behind Halo 3. But I think I just prefer the world. I love Cyrodiil. I think it's super sweet. And I cannot express to you how much I adore the two expansions of the game, Shivering Isles and Knights of the Nine. They are a couple of my favorite DLCs in all of gaming. Like, they're up there. They're up there in the same realm as Mass Effect 3 Citadel, and that's my favorite DLC ever. And it's not even close to how much that's my favorite. But like Shivering Isles, like, I love the Shivering Isles. I love Sheogorath. I love the Knights of the Nine. I think it's so cool. So I think that's one reason I'm so attached to Oblivion. Is number one, I love the world, and I love those expansions.
That's also part of it, is like, because any person I've ever heard talk well about Oblivion, it's not necessarily the base game that they're talking, or like talking up and hyping up so much. It's the expansions that they're so excited.
The expansions are great. Now, the base story is good. I do like the whole Oblivion storyline, but like I said, all the other storylines, they don't hold a candle to Skyrim's. Like, Skyrim's Dark Brotherhood and Thieves Guild and everything is so much better than Oblivion's.
Yeah, and it's not saying that, like, the Oblivion story isn't good. It's just that, like, the DLCs, everybody rates on such a high level.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, the Skyrim DLCs were like, we're gonna add this in so that we can give you some extra stuff that y'all wanted, and here's a little story to go along with it.
Right.
But the rest of it is just like, the base game of Skyrim is why people enjoy that game.
It is, exactly. But no, a possible remake or remaster being developed, like outsourcing it, like that's what I think a lot of studios should do if you want to have more games. I mean, it was my argument that I made a few weeks back of like why I think Zelda should stay in traditional format with a smaller scale game and just have another studio do it. They've done that before with the handheld games. Do it again. So like, if Oblivion can get the outsourced treatment, like with Virtuos, and let's say Virtuos nails it, like, hey, let's consider like maybe a New Vegas or even a Fallout 3, like, or even a Morrowind or something. Like let's keep considering more options there. Also, Andy asked in chat, what are both of your professional opinions on Dave the Diver? I didn't know what this was. I quickly Googled it, and the first thing I noticed is that the character Dave that you're playing, I'm going to be straight up with you, looks like a bearded Peter Griffin. So that's my professional opinion, is that you're playing Peter Griffin, and you're just a hard-working diver who collects fish, you solve quests, and manages a sushi restaurant. So it's just Peter Griffin if he was actually a truly hard worker and he has a beard. So that's my professional opinion on Dave the Diver. So there you go.
Yeah, I didn't know what this was.
Does that not look like Peter Griffin with a beard?
Kind of.
Yeah.
It's just I've heard the name said before, but I've never looked into it. So I do not have.
I mean, it's a 10 out of 10 on Steam. That's pretty good, John. Maybe we should get it.
I'm busy.
Yeah, you're busy. That's true. Maybe I should get it. I'm busy too, but I'm not busy with a game at the moment. I respect it. Thank you, Andy. It's 10 out of 10 on Steam. It's $20. Dave the Diver. Go check it out. He owns a sushi restaurant. He's just a hardworking family guy. There you go. So another thing to kind of touch on here is that we do have Sparkball, the like Rocket League MOBA-esque game that John checked out. They got a weekend going on. You only played one game. Is there any like massive noticeable differences or additions they made, or is it just another test?
That's what I was gonna say. We mentioned we'd talk about it when it came back up. There's another weekend happening right now. They have like changes that they talked about making. Like some characters have had their numbers adjusted. Some characters' kits are slightly different. Most all of the items have had their numbers adjusted. And I don't think last time you had. I think last time you didn't start, or I don't remember if you started with money, but you have 1,000 starting gold now. But all the items cost 1,500, so it accelerates you towards it, kind of.
Yeah.
But they changed it to where the goal itself is kind of like the healing spawn point until it gets destroyed. When it's destroyed, or when your tower gets destroyed, or while your tower is up, the goal acts as like a healing spawn point. But when the tower gets destroyed, you go back to like the little floating island that you got to jump back onto the pitch with.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, there's minor changes like that, but they're still looking to gather data and kind of stuff like that to work on the game. I've only played one game so far, but it is Baldurs Gate. But
yeah,
I mean, it's still enjoyable. But so if I play more, then I may talk about it more like next week or something.
Okay. And just a reminder for everyone, Sparkball is a free-to-play game. You just have to request access, I believe, and you get pretty much accessed immediately. It is basically think of like Rocket League, think of League. Basically, kind of combines the two together essentially. So if you're interested, make sure to check it out. If you're listening to this right now on August 5th, August 6th, whatever, make sure to check it out. Also, Steve dropped by in the chat. How's it going, Steve? He's saying he's not playing Baldur's Gate 3. Is it because you're gonna like completely lose your life right now, or you just don't have time for it? Because I know you had some recent changes in your profession. So I know you've probably been kind of busy and haven't had much time. But why aren't you playing? Are you just busy? So there was another game that Zach I know wanted to chat about, but Zach is still not here. I knew he probably wouldn't be here, but we were doing it on Discord so he could pop in if he could. So I'm just gonna assume he won't be able to make it today. No big deal. He can kind of follow with it next week. So I guess with that, John, do you want to start hitting like weekly wrap up stuff and get out of here?
Yeah, I want to briefly mention as well. I was going to talk about it last weekend, but we ended up taking a break last weekend.
Yeah, true.
Last weekend was ExileCon.
Yeah.
For Path of Exile. And last weekend they dropped a lot of Path of Exile 2 news. So it's like the entire event was kind of focused around like the next league coming to Path of Exile, and a ton of information. We got to see a bunch of playable demos and that for Path of Exile 2. And I don't have the date pulled up. You're like sometime next year. It's like sometime next year. I think it's like June through September. We'll say that frame. There's going to be a Path of Exile 2 closed beta, like around the middle of the year point.
Yeah.
And
Steve said he's not playing Baldur's Gate 3 because he's waiting for that PS5 release. That's fair. And he also said that the Path of Exile 2 stuff made his britches wiggle, which is why I started laughing, just because the word britches makes me laugh. I'm a child.
But yeah, the Path of Exile 2 stuff, I mean, I didn't watch on the event. I watched some like the first day or day and a half. But it's like some of the takeaways from it are Path of Exile 2 will be 2 separate games. Because previously the talk was like Path of Exile and Path of Exile 2 would be like different stories that emerged at the same kind of end game. Not happening anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's 2, or if I'm correct on that, now it's just 2 separate games. In Path of Exile 2, they're going to have 12 classes instead of like 6. One, because their attribute system is strength, int, dexterity. So there will be 1 class for each combination of that. So like if you wanted to play a strength int character, they have a base class for that. New item system, a bunch of new bosses for like, I think they said there's gonna be a boss for every zone now. But yeah, ton of new items, new gem system. You can dual specialize in the tree, like in their passive tree, but a ton of new systems. It looked good. It looked interesting. Kind of slower methodical gameplay kind of is what it looked like. So be excited to try that when the beta comes around next year.
Also, Steve said, "Oh wow, John just swerved me so hard." John, did you make like some sort of face or something whenever I said he was gonna wait for the PS5? Because I just said that and I jumped to his next comment. I wasn't paying attention. Did you make some face like, oh, console gamer or whatever? I wasn't paying attention.
Did I? If I did,
you might have, knowing you, you very well might have. So Steve, give me context. What did he do?
When you went to the next comment, that may have been what I was reacting to.
Okay, the britches wiggling.
yeah, that may have been there. I wasn't reacting to waiting for the PS5. That's perfectly acceptable.
Okay.
It's like whichever. The way I look at it.
Oh no, he said, nah. He acted like I didn't say anything at all because like you didn't respond. But no, that's just John, dude. That's just John. I responded for John essentially in that situation.
Yeah. He responds and I make slight facial reactions.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly how it goes.
But yeah, no. Just speaking of like the PS5 Baldur's Gate release, hey man, whichever way you want to play Baldur's Gate is that's up to you, man. As long as you played it.
Yeah,
that's gonna be the fun part.
Hey, shout out to Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 coming to Game Pass as well. I sent that I think in the chat. I sent it to you. I don't remember. But yeah, I got that notification as well. The push notification from Game Pass. I personally got it to my phone. They're not on there yet, but hey, they're coming to Game Pass. So that's pretty cool.
Also, not anywhere close to the same thing that Baldur's Gate 3 is.
Yes. Yeah.
They are completely different style games, and Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 are very much like centered around hardcore gamers.
Yeah. So keep that in mind if you're excited about Baldur's Gate 3 and you're just like, ooh, I got Game Pass. I'm going to play 1 and 2. Keep in mind what he just said before you go jump into 1 and 2.
They are not the same type of game even.
Yeah.
Because those are real-time with pause games, if I remember correctly, and Larian converted Baldur's Gate 3 to work in their system and engine that they've created for Divinity.
Is Baldur's Gate 3 as hard as people say it is?
I wouldn't say it's hard necessarily. It's like you can definitely get yourself into some very, very tough and unforgiving situations. Because me and the group I'm playing with, we have very much had that happen a couple times.
Okay.
and we have party wiped a few times and had to load back in and try again.
So it's got the right level of difficulty, then, basically.
Yeah, it's like there's. I mean, sometimes you'll walk too close to an area or like too close to a group of people and get pulled into a conversation. But more often than not, I've seen that if you want to exit the conversation and not piss anyone off, you kind of have the opportunity to be like, "My bad, I'm getting out of here."
He says,
it's like several of the conversations have had options like that.
Steve says, nothing is hard for a bard was the correct answer, sir.
Yeah, we don't have a bard. We found some cool stuff for bards, but we don't have a bard in our group.
That's unfortunate. I was looking at a bard. I was looking at a barb and I was looking at a druid as two classes that I was considering when I was looking at all the classes.
Yeah. Honestly, like barb, paladin, fighter were the three things I was really considering playing.
Yeah. He ended up going with fighter, Steve, in case you're wondering.
Yeah. I'm playing a Eldritch Knight fighter.
Yeah.
I will say the second I got Eldritch Knight and I got access to spells, first time I accidentally hit my party members.
Right.
Did not realize how far behind me Thunderwave was actually going to pull someone.
Yeah.
So immediately kind of threw my one of my party members across the arena.
Right.
That we were fighting at.
Am I getting it for PS5? Man, I haven't decided yet because like I'm broke as shit right now, and I was saying on the podcast earlier, I'm thinking about buying it tomorrow on PC, even though I'm broke as shit. But I haven't decided yet, man. I definitely want to play it, but I haven't decided how I'm going to play it yet. So it's a we'll see. It's a TBD at the moment. John, you ready to hit the news? Get out of here for the day?
Yeah, sure.
All right, cool. I want to go watch SummerSlam, so shout out to that. So I'll go ahead and touch on some news from last week. And honestly, I'm looking at the script from last week, and there's actually a few more things I would like to touch on. I won't touch on everything for sure, but a couple of the things that I definitely want to shout out is number one, Xbox and Square. Last week, we had the announcement that Final Fantasy XIV is coming to Xbox, and Square Enix CEO has said that he's looking forward to working with Xbox on bringing their games over to Xbox going forward. And he also, specifically thanked Phil Spencer for making this deal happening. And Phil Spencer said the exact quote that he's looking forward to partnering closely with Square on future games. I thought the fact that he included the word closely was funny to me, because everything that came out in this court case was against Sony, where Sony was obviously paying to keep Final Fantasy 16 off, Xbox and stuff like that. So I mean, it just sounds like a dawn of a new era for Xbox and Square titles. So shout out to that. There was a few different things of Sony related I wanted to shout out. The first one that I thought was interesting is that the PS5 physical edition has been receiving discounts. It received a permanent discount over in the UK, where it is now the same price as the digital edition. And it's now on sale over here for us. I think starting this weekend, I think it's $4.50 at like Target or Amazon or something. So basically what this is indicating is that it's indicating that newer model that that's supposed to come out later. They're trying to clear stock is essentially what it is, right? Like, there's supposed to be this new model coming out later this year. Steve, I know you just got a PS5. Let me stress, this new model and what you got, they are the same sort of PS5. You're good. Don't worry about it. All it is like they're essentially going away.
Upgraded PS5 coming out.
Yeah, that would be a fucking kick in the nuts for anyone that bought a PS5 just now. But no, all it is, guys, for anyone listening, it's essentially
such a dick move for us to be talking about that after we just like
we bullied the hell out of him.
Telling him to,
we bullied the shit out of Steve to buy it.
Fucking buy it already.
No, I mean, look, like you can look at the PS5, and I think anyone with a half a brain can all agree that the digital edition looks like the more natural fucking version. So all this new model is I think it comes with like a different chip that it's like more readily available. It's same power. There's nothing different. And this newer model, will have an attachable disk drive. Like they're just going away from the disc edition. So I mean, it is what it is.
As we should be.
Stop. No, we should not. Although I do agree that this is the final generation of physical games, which is really disappointing. Now, something else Sony related that I wanted to shout out here is a little tidbit of news I thought was very interesting, especially now that it's popped up post this court case. Is that basically Sony is gearing up for acquisitions, investments, and joint ventures seriously based on job listings to seek a corporate strategy in development, integration, and acceleration. They're seeking a person in that higher corporate position. And I just think that's kind of funny because obviously they lost with the Activision Blizzard thing, and now they're going to be gearing up for some purchase of their own. And I was talking to to our guy Josh about it, and I was telling him like, look, if like this. What I don't remember the exact number for the Activision Blizzard deal, like 60 something billion dollars or whatever, $6 billion. I don't remember. If that can go through, if that can get the approval, then dude, like we're about to truly enter the acquisition era of gaming. So, and then the last thing is that the Zelda Oracle games was added to Nintendo Switch Online. Shout out to that. Oracle games are really fun. You should definitely go play both of them. Yes, go play both of them. It's not like Pokemon, where you just play one or the other. Play both. You want to go play both. So definitely go check it out if you've never done it before. Going into, well, one last thing from last week, because it also got clarified this week in case anyone saw the news, is that with all of this Activision Blizzard thing, one thing that Xbox really wants to do with Activision Blizzard games is they really want those Transformers games from like the 360 era and put them on Game Pass, like Fall of Cybertron, which is an awesome game. If you've never played Fall of Cybertron on the 360, you missed out. It has an incredible multiplayer. Me and Brady had so much fun with that game back in the day. Xbox wants those games on there, but apparently Activision Blizzard are saying that the game is lost. And the exact quote that was said at San Diego Comic-Con was like, they're not sure what hard drive it's on in the building, because the way they put it is like when a company eats a company that then eats a company that eats another company, things get lost. So it could be lost. There was a follow-up from someone at Activision Blizzard saying that that their comments was incorrect or something. I guess it's trying to now kind of calm down, like, hey, we didn't lose it, but they may have actually lost it. Steve agrees with me. Fall Cybertron was amazing. That game was awesome. But Xbox very much wants those games on Game Pass. Apparently, Xbox is personally planning to go through archives to locate the game files to get on Game Pass. So that's pretty sweet if those games get a revival. Keep in mind, Microsoft was the one who basically fixed all of the old Call of Duty servers as soon as all this deal started. Looked like it was about to be done. So, hey, if they want to get Fall Cybertron up, I will gladly hop on that game for some nostalgia, because I love that game. That game is awesome. Some news that from this week. So first and foremost, Pokemon Presents is set for next week. I put 8/5, but that is incorrect. It's going to be sometime next week. I forgot the day, though. It's going to be 35 minutes. So 35 minutes of potentially mid-content. We'll see. I did notice that they, instead of just putting up a simple picture with the logo of Pokemon Presents and the dates, it was a video, and it was like a little video where it went from the basic logo we've always seen to like almost like a glitched neon light logo. So clearly teasing something, but what, I don't know. Maybe it's just relating to Detective Pikachu. Maybe, I don't know, but interesting little tease there. So here's some very random couple bits of news that I thought was very interesting. So as of now, Wii U servers for Splatoon 1 and Mario Kart 8 were turned back on. I was talking to Josh about this. I want to know a fucking player count on these games to warrant this happening at Nintendo. Like, the fact they actually went back and did this. You don't have a
Wii U.
I have a Wii U. You're the one that lost yours.
Can we go get it?
I know you have it now. I know you have it now, but you're the one who lost it, and we're convinced that you never had one. Yeah, I know. You've got the Pro Controller that, again, you were convinced that you didn't have it.
I've always had it.
Shut up, John. But no, Splatoon 1 and Mario Kart 8 servers turned back on the Wii U. That I demand a player count. I want to know who's playing these games.
Hey, at least enough to fill up a lobby.
I guess so. Which also, I found out this as well. Apparently, Call of Duty on the Wii servers were still up, and they were just shut down within the last few days. I saw that news, and I'm like, are you shitting me right now? Call of Duty on the Wii was still active? Like, that blew me away when I saw that news. I have to know. what other old games on like the Wii or whatever. I need to know what servers are active. I need to know. Like, God, this is so interesting to me. Like, I know like there are older stuff like the 360. You can still go on 360 and play Xbox Live. Like, I'm not dumb about that. Like, I get it, but I need to know what's still active of older games. Like, I'm just curious. Then we did have news on Nintendo's next generation console. This is actually per VGC, so this is not like some random leaker. This is actually pretty reputable source here. That the dev kit is now in key partner hands. It's targeting a second half 2024 release, so like fall time. And honestly, that does line up pretty well. I saw some developers kind of chime into this that, hey, if they're targeting a fall 2024 release, the dev kits being in partners' hands right now makes sense. So I mean that does add some credibility to it. Apparently, it can be used in portable mode like current Switch. It's going to be using an LCD screen versus OLED though to keep the price down. That's actually kind of disappointing. I'm not a handheld Switch player, but I will say since I've got an OLED, I have found myself playing a lot more handheld than I ever did with my old Switch. So that's kind of disappointing. Increased storage though, it does use cartridges of some kind. But backwards compatibility is unknown. If it uses cartridges, I would safely bet that Switch games will be compatible. If I had to bet, though,
I would assume so.
If I had to bet, I feel like whatever cartridges they're going to use this time are going to be bigger. So maybe like the slot, is set to like where you can put in the new cartridge, but then it can also hold a Switch cartridge in some capacity. I don't know. But I mean, I would be blown away if there's not backwards compatibility, especially considering Nintendo for the first time ever is carrying over your current Nintendo account to the next console. They've never done that. It's always been cut and dry every single generation. So basically saying all your purchases that you have for right now on digital purchases on your Nintendo account will transfer over. So that tells me it will be backwards compatible in some capacity, at least in digital format. Who knows? But like, I feel like your Switch cartridges are gonna fit in this thing, even if they have to include another slot. Like, it's going to fit. Thoughts on Neopets coming back? My girlfriend's excited, but that's all I can tell you on that. I actually forgot that was even a thing. Have a good night, Dave. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. But no, just looking forward to some sort of announcement on next generation console for the Switch. I think it's gonna be early next year. For some Persona 5 Tactica news, Ketchi and Kasumi were officially revealed. They will be DLC, so shout out to that. There were some rumors and leaks that was a thing, but we got the official reveal for them. And then the last little piece of news I had here, which I thought this was kind of funny too, is EA says in a recent earnings call that Respawn is working on an Xbox One and PS4 version of Jedi Survivor. Good luck with that one. Good fucking luck.
Yeah, I don't. That's one of those ones where you look at and you go, why?
Yeah, it's almost like whoever Portkey Games, whatever, Avalanche working on Hogwarts Legacy still for the Switch. I can't wait to see how that game looks. Like, oh Lord,
garbage.
Yeah, that's gonna be hot garbage. But yeah, shout out to Respawn. I guess they really think they can make Jedi Survivor. I mean, don't get me wrong, they could. Jedi Survivor could totally work on the Xbox One and PS4. It'd just be very, very dumbed down graphically from what it is now, and I feel like it's gonna be horrible frame rate. So good luck to them. Shout out to that. Did they ever fix the Steam version? Did they ever fix the PC version? I don't remember. I know they've been putting out a lot of updates, so they probably fixed it.
I don't remember.
No.
I feel like I looked at it at one point, but I couldn't tell you like what patches it actually put through on it.
Right. Okay. Well, I think that was all I had for this week. Let me go back and look at last week's news one last time. Anything to shout out, I guess? Shout out to 2 random announcements we got. Nick All-Star Brawl 2 and DreamWorks All-Star Kart Racing. So I guess shout out to that. Whatever. We got another one of those digital-only games. Like a Dragon Guide and The Man Who Erased His Name confirmed for digital only in the West. So another game added to the list. To the growing list.
Yeah.
No, John, calm down. I'm not ready for this all digital future. I like my physical media.
Ready for like 5 years.
I know you have been. I'm not. Okay, I like my physical media. I like my discs.
Hey, I have physical media.
Yeah, you got that from me. That's my game. Because I had an extra. Fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, every now and then I have one.
Yeah, every now and then. Whatever.
Doesn't matter if I just take it from you or not.
Asshole. All right. I think we're going to go ahead and end the show here. John, any last thoughts?
I don't think I have anything here. Are we going through the ending sequence here?
I just now hit the music.
Or were you asking if I had anything before?
I just hit the music just now, so now we're going through the actual ending.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, comment, subscribe, all that. If you enjoyed what we're doing here, it does help us out. And if you made it to the end of the episode with us, thank you very much. And if you'd like to see any more from us, we do this show on Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time.
Yeah.
So, see.
Yeah, and make sure to also check out our website, sparky3.com. You can sign up for free, sign up $5 a month. If you're a fan of football, make sure to check out the website for sure. We've got one of my guys, Jacob, over at ATFS. He has put his heart and soul into a massive article going team by team of all 133 teams in college football and how they will do this upcoming season. It's an unbelievably impressive article. I can't wait to post it here in the near future. Post the different conferences. So shout out to Jacob on that and all of his hard work. I appreciate the hell out of him for it. Make sure to check out the other shows like Terrible Football Show and AniMan Plus whenever that comes back, which is going to be someday. Join the Discord. Check out some Rogue Energy with our referral link down below. And we would 100% appreciate the extra support, as well as go over to Agent Inc. Buy a jersey, man. We got some sick-ass jerseys in the merch store that are totally worth the pickup. I think that's it. We should be back next week with no problems. We'll see what we're going to talk about. Until next time, guys, have a good one. Bye.